Hello, internet people. We're about to finish Ocarina of Time. Can you believe it?
I can't because it's shockingly fast. Not by like beating Ocarina of Time standards per se, but by let's plays about about Ocarina of Time standards.
For sure.
Just
Look at
we're
all those
I
medallions.
I
Almost
feel like
all
we've
of
made
them.
this abundantly clear through this playthrough that we both like grew up watching Game Grumps basically. Like
Yeah,
I mean I was already like a young adult, but
I
I
was
was
in
like
high school.
21, I think. Yeah. So like we've both seen a ton of them playing Zelda, and even as like a relatively casual Zelda fan myself compared to you, I would say, like in terms of how experienced I actually am with these games. um even I was like aghast at how bad Aaron Hansen is at these games, and the result of that though is that those series were really long and they felt epic because it was like, you know, they felt as long as they felt to me as a kid, which is hilarious. Like, it shouldn't take a grown man that long to beat Ocarina of Time, but
Yeah.
like, it felt as aggravating and difficult as it could be as like a first time 8-year-old player, And so it had like kind of nostalgia, even though you were frustrated at Aaron, there was like a nostalgia factor of like returning to being bad at a game that can be like, it's better than he's making it out to be.
Yeah,
Where
no,
the hell's the
watching.
horse? Why didn't it show up?
I don't know.
What's going on? Is this an emulator glitch, maybe?
I'm gonna reset the emulator just in case. That's not supposed to happen.
Did you ever have a period in your life where you used the word emulator?
Emulator? No.
Yeah. That's what I thought it was for a long time because I had never heard anyone say it. Like, and so I said it a lot in videos where I would say emulator and in like live streams, and people kept getting on me about it. And like,
The story is old
I
as time, you getting yelled at on the internet for your pronunciations.
it takes a lot of bullying to get me to change it too. Like, well, I guess
Nish.
I have to hear other people say it enough times for me to like internalize it,
Yeah.
Like, because people kept telling me, "Oh, it's emulator," and I'm like, okay, but fucking says who, But once you hear like a lot of other YouTubers saying emulator, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to be the one fucking idiot who's saying emulator and no one else is saying that. People are sending me pictures of emus and shit, like on Twitter. I'm not even kidding. People really did do
That's
that.
really funny. I mean, I
Like,
set
just like,
all the folders in my computer. I fucking shortened them to emu, so I know what's what. I have my emulators very organized. Because on my first computer, I didn't have them organized at all, and they were all over the fucking place, and I couldn't find them anywhere.
this is my remote. I think I need to turn you down a little so that you're not coming through my microphone. Oh, I also need to open up the chat. I haven't even acknowledged that we're in front of an audience at present.
Yeah.
This game is so nice. Like, watching you play this game, I kind of said this when you got up to go to the bathroom during the last stream. In the last stream, I was really physically tired. Not so today,
Yeah.
thankfully. But you got up to go to the bathroom, and I was like, what I really want is to go to sleep to this. Like, I this is the type of experience that, like, a person who I feel very comfortable with, a game I feel very comfortable with, like, this would
Ooh,
be
they
the
fixed the bridge.
deepest, most peaceful sleep experience I could have. um so it's kind of funny to be like, shit, I can't, like, this, I can't sleep. I have to fight my instinct and try to be entertaining, and
Yeah.
like stay in the game. But we're in the fucking final stretch now. This is the it stretch. Okay, I've got the stream open now. Digit was here and says, first, new B angle. I like this angle. It's cool. Hell yeah.
Is the
Z Cypher says, what's that?
sorry, is the quality of the stream okay? YouTube's yelling at me about it.
Oh yeah, let me listen to it. It looks good.
Okay.
think I'm a little quiet, so
Want me to
and the
turn you up more on my end?
game audio is good. So yeah, just turn me up.
Now speak.
Yeah, yo, word. I'm
Gay
talking,
shit?
I'm speaking. I'm like the master of all baby technology. I still sound kind of quiet.
Weird. I'm gonna turn you up to max volume. Boop.
Well, so on OBS, I think I had you put me at 80%. Maybe we just got to put that back up.
Turn up desktop volume.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yes.
Meow.
Let's find out.
Meow.
Let's hear it. Alright, that's good. Yeah,
Cool.
I like that. I'm dope with it.
First trial's the River of Sand. Second
Okay,
trial
Z
is
Cypher
the
said
Phantom.
"Estoy aquí," which I don't know what that means. I used to shorten it to emu. I like the bird, but said emulator regularly Lamau. Petrichor VT says my YouTube's freaking out. Hi. YouTube be full of glitches all the time. Digit says seems good to me. Petrichor VT says my YouTube and Discord both crashed at the same time, and somehow it wasn't my internet. Ooh, this gate opening sequence looks cool. This kind of reminds me of Jesus Christ Superstar. You ever seen that?
No.
You should definitely watch that. It's very entertaining.
I
It's
think
like
I have it on VHS.
basically like a bunch of hippies in the 70s in like just after hippie culture had like reached its zenith. A bunch of hippies drive out in like a school bus out into the desert to do the Jesus Christ story. And but like so I never like read the Bible as a kid. My main exposure to it is Jesus Christ Superstar, which like is told largely from Judas's perspective and gives him like way more character than he has in the Bible, I've been told.
Oh yeah.
So like my impression of it was always like, oh, it's like this epic story of this duality of man is presented by Jesus and Judas, and like that's not the Bible at all. That is just uniquely that rock opera. But the music's fucking great. The singing's really great. Judas and Jesus are both iconic, especially Judas in that movie. I mean, he basically,
Jesus,
like,
you
as far
rotten
as I'm
little
concerned,
kid.
is like the most of a character he's ever been, actually, since he's not really a character in the Bible.
I've read bits and pieces of the Bible, but most of what I know about it came from VeggieTales.
That's the best place to get the Bible. I love this part of the game. This is another thing they've emulated in other Zelda games in the future, of like having a desert that just kind of implies that there is way more to the world than what you have seen, but you just can't go there because it's literally impassable. Like, there's nothing you can collect that will get you through this desert. If there is some other evil somewhere in the world ravaging some other land, you cannot go stop it. You're not strong enough. It's a great mystery. Breath of the Wild obviously like did this the most, where like most of the world is like a cliffside and then there's just like a desert on the like the entire northern side of the map or whatever.
Yeah.
And here it's like if you try to walk off the path, you just kind of get reset, so it's like who knows how big this thing is.
Yeah. I love that the map is just a big square. The desert is just huge. It's endless.
And it always comes late in the game too, to like represent that idea that, you know, as big as this adventure felt, it really is a small, like, Hyrule is just a land, you know, it is not the world. Like,
Yeah.
It's realistic about the scale, I guess, which it's interesting because like with video games, I feel like they've gotten bigger and bigger in literal size, but it doesn't always translate to feeling bigger, you know, like it's about how long it takes you to traverse it, how many stories, you know, unfold there. Like,
Yeah.
this game is literally small. Like spatially, there's not that much to traverse, but a lot happens. You meet a lot of people, you learn all their stories, like at least a depth that makes you like endeared to what's going on in those places, how they intercorrelate. Like Kakariko Village and Hyrule Town have a clear relationship, you know, with history.
Yeah, it's an N64 game that makes great use of the limited space it has to work with. It's very densely packed with character and life and emotion. It makes the whole thing feel much more big than it is. Really
I
what made
think
it
that's
so impactful to me as a kid. It was like, yes, I'm a hero. I'm going on a big adventure. It's like you
I
go
think
to
a
the
big
same
part of
three
like
places twice, and then there's like a dungeon in the town you'd been to before, and then this desert thing. I think it's really cool that they saved this for last, because this is like the whole new area you've never seen before.
look at that. It looks like it goes on like Utah, like just forever.
It's like, holy shit, the game was hiding this from me all along. This is
Yeah.
epic. These things are not epic. Annoying.
Yeah, I fucking hate those guys. But they are from like the first game too. Another
Yeah.
one of those enemies that like took a kind of a long time to show up in this game, but
I always
they are
hated them.
Zelda. An interestingly suspicious crack in the wall.
Way.
It's like barely obvious at all.
And it's also entirely optional. Digit says, did you ever watch the GDQ ACE showcase for this game? It's awesome. They create entirely original and live content using ACE. I don't know what any of those things mean.
Games done quick is GDQ. Tool assisted speedrun is what TAS is.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the ACE part.
It's way
but
too many acronyms to assume that I know what any of them.
ACE would be. Oh man, I'm trying to think of what it would be. Yeah, Games Done Quick is the annual like speedrunning summit. Basically, it's like a non-stop live stream that goes for like a week, and all the speedrunners play all the classic speedrun games.
I've seen a couple of
I guess
very
it's a
funny
tournament
meme
also.
videos from that. Yeah.
ACE is arbitrary code execution. I don't even know what that looks like, so I'd have to see that.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
only
tool
know-
assisted speedruns is basically where you like have a machine do like frame perfect execution on everything to get the fastest actual possible time.
Yeah, I watched a tool-assisted speedrun of Super Metroid just to see. Like, I just wanted to know. Wanted to know
The most entertaining ones are Sonic.
Yeah.
Because like if you watch like Sonic Advance tool assisted speedruns, the character is consistently going too fast for the screen to keep up. Really fucking funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is the coolest temple entrance in the game for sure. Like the fact that it has so much space just leading up to it, the implication of so much space going further. I feel like this is more like what 3D games have tried to emulate from this than anything, like aesthetically. That implication of there being more, because most of this game is very walled off. Like the walls are kind of rigid, and it's like a little unclear what they even are. Like I guess it's just cliff sides that are a little too sheer to climb. You'd think they'd build staircases all up and down that shit, you know, like. But whatever. It's an N64 game. Those are the limits, you know. But somehow with this temple, it feels more like modern and open.
I love the way this temple is too, where it's like it's just telling you right here. There's two different paths you could take. Neither of them are open to you yet. That one you have to be a kid, and that one you clearly need something that you don't have yet. This inscription over here just tells you have to travel through time, like go back to being Kid Link again. We're actually gonna make you use the time travel now.
This definitely gives to me like one of the things that makes Nintendo special. The reason their games hold up so well is like going to that level of polish of we're gonna end the game with like we took everything we learned from development and made the ultimate test, you know, like whereas a lot of games are like, well, most players don't make it this far, so the ending is just like dog shit, you know. They front load all the intrigue.
Digit says Krona Echo.
You gotta read the text here. Let me turn you down on my end.
Past, present, future. The Master Sword is a ship with which you can sail upstream and downstream through Time's river. The port for that ship is in the Temple of Time. To restore the Desert Colossus and enter the Spirit Temple, you must travel back through Time's flow. Listen to this requiem of spirit. This melody will lead a child back to the desert. I love how somber this one is. Is that the first time we've seen the owl since turning into adult Link?
Yeah, I think so.
Makes me wonder what the implication is supposed to be there. It's like, are we mourning the loss of our childhood innocence? What the fuck is this about?
Maybe it's to imply that you're going to become a child again, like you're going to be seeing Kipura again. Or that like he's still watching over you just in case you weren't sure. Because like it's really been Sheik taking that role and just being way more interesting, you know?
Yeah.
Digit said it's because the owl likes them young and now Link is too old. That's wrong. No, absolutely not. I think the owl is the sage of time. That's our
Yeah.
theory.
I am convinced that Rauru is the owl. Because, like, I'm further convinced because of Skyward Sword. There's a guy in Skyward Sword who's, he looks like Rauru because he's like Zelda's dad. He's like an old fat guy with angry eyebrows. And his name is like the same as the owl from this game.
Gibora.
Yeah. Like, it feels intentional, like you're supposed to assume that's the case. The owl is Rauru.
It's really funny, like, as a little kid, I really hated that owl because I saw it as, like, just pretentious and, like, the game talking down to me, but also proving that I am, in fact, an idiot. And then, like, later on, I just became nostalgic for it because it was so funny to me that, like, you don't like okay the game it communicates to you well enough that you don't really need to read that dialogue. Like if Kepura Gebora wasn't there and you just played the game like thoroughly, you would figure out what you need to do regardlessly. But like as a kid it felt like he was trying to explain the whole fucking game to me before I could just play it, you know. And yet at the same time I like felt like I couldn't process everything he was saying because it was so much. And I would get stuck in the fucking loop of hitting the wrong button to get out of the dialogue, you know, and like he would repeat it all and I just get infuriated. But then once I was a little older, I just thought it was hilarious that it's like so inconsequential and so easy to get through. You just press A like 6 times and then press B, you know, you're done. Like, I haven't seen you around, kid. What do you want?
Nothing really.
You have nothing to do. What good timing. Can you do me a favor, kid? Wait a second. I want to ask you first. You wouldn't happen to be one of Ganondorf's followers, would you?
I hate Ganondorf.
Uh-huh.
You've got guts. I think I like you. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Naboru of the Gerudo. I'm a lone wolf thief. But don't get me wrong. Though we're both thieves, I'm completely different from Ganondorf. With his followers, he stole from women and children, and he even killed people.
Oh my god.
A kid like you may not know this, but the Gerudo race consists only of women. Only one man is born every 100 years. Even though our laws say that lone male Gerudo must become the king of the Gerudo, I'll never bow to such an evil man. By the way, what is your name, kid? Link? What kind of name is that? Well, anyway,
How insulting.
I want to ask you a favor.
Yeah, insults you, then asks for a favor right after.
Will you go through this tiny hole and get a treasure that's inside?
Go through this tiny hole.
The treasure is the silver gauntlets. If you equip them, you can easily push and pull very heavy things.
Ah.
No, kid. Don't even think about taking this treasure for yourself. The silver gauntlets won't fit a little kid like you if you try to equip them. I want you to be a good boy and give them to me. Ganondorf and his minions are using the Spirit Temple as a hideout. Only the silver gauntlets will allow me to sneak deep into the temple. Once there, I'm going to steal all the treasure inside and mess up their plans. How about it? Will you do it? Thanks, kid. You and I, let's give Ganondorf and his followers a big surprise, shall we? If you can successfully get the silver gauntlets, I'll do something great for you.
Let's go.
The implication.
Of course I'll crawl through a tiny hole and fucking explore Lost Temple for you, madam.
I love the honorable thief trope, says Zerakiel. Modern equivalent is stealing from Walmart, which I heavily encourage because it is easy. Even though they keep trying to make it harder. Like, the way Walmart is now is that it's like, it's all self-checkouts, but they have like people watching you self-checkout. But it's like one person to every like 4 registers. So if they're looking at literally anything, you just fucking slide something in your bag. I mean, they got like a camera that's on you, but the easiest way is just if you got 2 of something, just scan, like layer them up, grab both of them out of your cart, scan one, put both in the bag. They don't have weight detectors at Walmart, which like almost every, like you go to Costco, you got to put every single fucking thing on a scale or else that thing's going to scream at you. And they might have one person watching 8 registers, but the registers are laid out in like a panopticon layout where it's very easy for that person to see what you are doing. And they hire somebody who knows what they're doing. At Walmart, they have it laid out in a way where it's like each one is kind of its own stall, so it's really hard to... I don't know if this is true for everybody's Walmart. They also don't pursue cases under a certain dollar amount from the cameras. They also don't encourage the people to chase you out of the store or call the police. Like...
Yep.
You can literally go to Walmart, fill a cart with shit, and walk out, and they're not going to stop you. Like, somebody might scream after you, but they are not going to stop you. Now, granted, you will probably get your photo posted on the wall, or they will not let you in that Walmart again if they catch you coming in. But, like, you know, there's a lot of Walmarts you can burn if you're willing to do a little driving.
I love giving everyone instructions on stealing stuff in my gaming show. It's the best show
Committing
in the world.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't legally encourage anybody to do anything illegal
No,
because that
of
would be
course
insane.
not.
But, you know, I'm just saying crime makes you cool. Is being cool something I endorse? Not necessarily. I'm just saying, you know, it does make you cool.
True.
Just like being good at The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They're like similar levels in my mind. Of something that makes me go, that's a cool thing to have in your back pocket.
I just
A blue rupee.
I love how entering this dungeon as a kid, like immediately, a fucking fire bat comes out of nowhere and like I couldn't even see it coming in time to react. So it's like if you have the Deku Shield equipped when you get here, that thing is fucking gone immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like, we're not fucking around anymore. You're in the Spirit Temple.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, well, because I think also, how much sequence breaking can you do in this game? Like,
A lot.
this has to be the last dungeon you do no matter what, right? Or is
No.
there any way around that?
There are ways.
Okay.
I've
But
seen...
are they like ways that are intended or just like
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen like challenge runs and stuff. There's like this one challenge run. I forget what it's called, but it's like you're supposed to do Jabu Jabu first somehow, or I don't remember exactly, but it was like do them all out of order, and it was when you get to Adult Link, it's like do the Shadow Temple before the other ones.
Well, so that was something I think is just like normally possible, right? Like without breaking anything.
We should. I think so.
Because
Like,
I feel like there's some level of
yeah, like,
like
you
you can do the
glitches.
dungeons in a different order than what's like considered standard, like without doing anything like ridiculous or out of what was like obviously programmed deliberately. But I guess what I'm wondering is if that applies to this temple or if this is like has to come last.
You know, I doubt it. What the fuck? Oh, there's one up there. Gimme.
Hey, mission accomplished.
Oh my god. Lock on. Die.
Yeah, the bats have always been one of the biggest frustrations to me in these Zelda games, although a big part of that is I really don't think that me and like my cousin or my brother when we were younger had like really internalized the need to use Z targeting constantly.
Yeah.
Like it feels like when you get into certain fights you like understand, okay, well this is like necessary. But with the bats, I think there's a tendency to be like, oh, I'll just hit B and kill this fucking thing, and then you miss and you kind of feel like, you know, frustrated because you get hit immediately, and it's like all you had to do was Z target that thing and you would not have missed, you know. But as a kid it just feels like, I don't know, you don't have that same level of like militance with the controls that you develop as you get older because you don't want the frustration of getting hit like that, you know.
Yeah. And now I've got those gamer instincts, and I play every game that has a lock on. I use it constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
Just by instinct. This game really did like teach me a lot of good gamer habits. I think. I don't know. It's like I put this in the same category as something like Mario 64 or Half-Life, where it's like this is a good first video game to have. Like if you were someone who had never touched a fucking game before, this would be a good one to start with.
I mean, it was definitely built to be like anyone's first 3D adventure game because there simply wasn't one, you know. It's like this had to be your onboarding game.
Which is why it's so
for it
funny
to make
when
any
some
sense.
fucking Zoomer comes along and is like, I don't get the hype. This game is boring.
I mean, literally, if you don't internalize the need to read to progress a game, you won't make it through this game. Just like me as a little kid. Like, I think there's probably a lot of people who really would get walled out because I mean, the game is not for everyone. Like, I think it did that deliberately to be like, hey, if you're not going to read, you're not gonna, like, this game just isn't for you. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that the game doesn't consist of a ton of reading, but it is like an essential element to progress, you know. Like, just like you have to be willing to look around the room. Like it really felt like Egoraptor like didn't like that the game is what it is, which is like a game about looking around, you know.
It's like, is that a puzzle? Is looking around for a thing to whack? Is that really satisfying to you? And I'm like, yeah.
Literally, yes. Well, and to me, like, so, a big part of why the Minish Cap is one of my favorite Zelda games is that, like,
Bomb chew.
I think, like, Zelda 1 does a great sense of, like, the feeling of when you memorize the whole world. Like, inevitably, you will memorize the world map. Like, through the course of getting to all the dungeons, learning everything you need to know, like, you're gonna run around the thing so often that, like, if you have played Zelda 1, you probably have a pretty decent mental image of the world map in your head. If you've played it more than once, you definitely do, you know? So, like, the game is about building that mental map and knowing where everything is and, like, feeling as though you have a kind of ownership over that world because you literally understand it thoroughly. And all the games have that, but from this game forward, because of the extra dimension of space you can use, you can pack way more detail in. And like the N64 only really allows for a certain level of like visual detail, but it's so much more than what could be done in 2D that the world just becomes way more dense. And so like it probably literally takes less time to walk across Hyrule in this game than it does in A Link to the Past. But it feels bigger because the scale, like the mountains are literally taller, you know, like in one image, in one screen.
It's kind of crazy because, you know, before this game came out and all of our adventure games are restricted to being, you know, 2D, there were ways that 2D games could make like a world and an adventure feel bigger than it was, like lots of, you know, RPGs where the world map is represented as this huge thing and your character is like walking across it very quickly, but it's supposed to be representative of something bigger, like scale wise. It's like your character is actually traveling way farther than it looks. So for them to make a game like this where you just are occupying a physically large space, like, I don't know. I think I said this in one of the other streams, but to me that's what made this game really special, is that it's not just doing what like a Final Fantasy or a Dragon Quest was doing, where you would walk up to a thing and press the A button and then you get a little text describing what the thing was. No, you're like physically occupying the space. You can interact. You can go up to that wall. You can look at the bookshelf with your own eyeballs. You can zoom in and look around at the room, take in your surroundings. You can fucking bump into the wall. You can hit it. These are all things you can do. You can backflip. Fuck it. You are a person existing in this world in a three-dimensional space. Like, when people talk about N64 games, like, you look back on old reviews and publications where they said Ocarina of Time is the most realistic graphics ever. It's like, it's laughable now, because like, what's realistic about this? What's realistic about it is what I just said, that you are actually there. There's a kinetic aspect to this that we all take for granted now.
Well,
this
and like
just did not exist.
Every game that did it since this did it because this game did it. Like they literally solved it. Like there are other 3D, you know, movement games that existed before this, for years before this, and they just weren't popular because they fucking sucked. It was not fun. And this game made it so much fun that like even games that have less movement mechanics than this one, like they copied. Like I think about Final Fantasy and its evolution, because like you said, those games were not like this at all. But as soon as this existed, then we get Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII has nowhere near the level of like movement mechanics and like use of 3D space that this game has. But it starts incorporating those aspects, and then by the time you get to Final Fantasy X, it like the dungeons feel like Zelda dungeons. Like they have block pushing puzzles. Well, really, it's moving orbs around puzzles and stuff, and like it becomes a game that is on some level about navigating a 3D space, but it only becomes that because this game set that precedent and like was so defining that even if you didn't play this, because the N64 was not actually that popular of a console, so it's not like this game was played by nearly as many people when it came out as it has been on emulators and through being talked about on the internet. But its influence loomed so large. Like all the game developers played this game. You know, all the game developers decided this was the benchmark they had to copy. And so if you've played any 3D adventure game, you know, Grand Theft Auto, probably the best example I could actually give of a game that the first two Grand Theft Autos are fucking top-down racing games, and or rather automobile adventure games, and then Grand Theft Auto 3 is like Zelda, but you in terms of movement, it's you know, walking around a 3D space looking at three-dimensional objects, and the main appeal is that it's just the real world like transposed into 3D, whereas Zelda is like, you know, a fantasy couched in realistic tropes. Grand Theft Auto is literally just fucking LA. Hey, you want to go fuck around in LA, like in 3D for real? And that's like the defining game of culture for my generation, you know?
Grand Theft Auto is an enigma to me.
Same. I've literally never played any of them.
I've played a couple, and they're like fun or whatever, but I've never understood why they're so like ubiquitous in video game
It's just
culture.
because it's the ultimate chaos simulator. Like whatever you could even imagine doing in reality, like that you wouldn't do, you can in that game, because it's literally, it feels like you're in your own city, because every city in America is basically the same fucking place. So it's like, if you live in any kind of big city and you've ever ideated like creating mayhem there just because you're sick of the fucking way things are, this game is for you. And like I didn't just have like enough awareness of my surroundings to really ideate creating mayhem as a kid, and also I did not live in a city. Like Virginia Beach is basically just a never-ending suburb, and that's mostly where I grew up. So like it was hard for me to relate to those games because I didn't like understand what, like I didn't feel compelled to do the things that you do in those games. And I understood why other people were, but I kind of looked down on that behavior as a kid because I saw it as like, why do you want to do all this like violence and mayhem, you know?
Yeah.
I think by the time I was like a teenager, I didn't feel as like idealistically against it, as much as just that's not really what I'm looking for. Like I'm not trying to live in this reality and punk it, especially if not, because like you just get arrested by the cops anyways. Like you know, like every run you have in that game every run of chaos ends with you getting arrested and doing it all over, kind of like a roguelike, you know. Oh my god,
huge.
that would be a great analysis video. How fucking Grand Theft Auto low-key inspired roguelikes.
Yeah, one day we have to do a series where we play every single Rockstar game in order, and we will both be fucking miserable the whole time.
I'm good on that. I got limited time on this earth. It's already going to be a tall order to play all these 80s RPGs, but like there are certain things that like from a historical perspective are really interesting to me, and even if it's not the best experience, I'm willing to sacrifice some time towards like edifying myself. But there's a limit to it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it has to at least be something I've wanted for a long time. Like playing old RPGs has always been on my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna leave my mind unless I at least make a real go at doing it, you know?
You know, I think I told myself a couple years ago, like, I'm gonna play every fucking Rockstar game, and then I tried Red Dead 2 because it's one of my partner's favorite games, and I was so fucking bored.
Oh, I hate that.
You just gotta get past the boring part, and I got past the boring part, and I was still like falling asleep playing it.
Let me do this voice. Hey, what's up, Link? Surprised to see me? A long time in this world is almost nothing to you, is it? How mysterious. Even I thought that the tales of a boy who could travel back and forth through time was merely a legend. Link, you have fully matured as an adult.
Wow.
From now on, the future of all the people in Hyrule is on your shoulders. Maybe it's not my time anymore. Here is my last advice. 2 witches inhabit this temple. In order to destroy them, turn their own magic power against them. Hoot hoot! I forgot about them. Do you want to hear what I said again?
No.
I will continue to watch you. Hoot hoot hoot! The twin witches, are they in A Link to the Past or something? I know they're in another game.
They're in Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask, okay.
I don't know if they're in any of the other ones. I haven't played most of the like 2D
Handheld?
Zeldas. I haven't finished a bunch of them. I'm working on Link's Awakening right now. But,
Link's Awakening is
yeah.
a really good game, but frustrating in how much like menu swapping there is. Like,
Yeah.
it's got the water temple problem for the entire game.
It's got that problem, and it's also got some obtuse game design that irritates me here and there. I'll just be like,
You got
oh,
the
of course
fucking
you had to go all the way
gauntlet.
back to that other town and talk to that one character. And I was like, why would I think to do that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Link's Awakening definitely runs you around. To me, it's kind of like a bit of a demake of like A Link to the Past. It's like
Yeah,
taking those principles of that game, but like, you know, simplifying it for the Game Boy.
for sure. Yeah,
And so it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, well, it's cool that this exists to have a Zelda you can carry around, you know, but like now it's like, well, we've got a bunch of those.
yeah.
And obviously there's a remake too.
These witches, they're using black magic on me.
I forgot what her voice was like.
That definitely was the appeal of Link's Awakening, is that it just was a portable Zelda. It's like, holy shit, they put this on the Game Boy now. Oh,
Yeah,
I
for
cannot
sure.
imagine playing that game on an actual Game Boy. I think I would get a migraine. Having to read every
played-
single piece of dialogue 3 times, trying to figure out where the fuck I'm meant to go.
I played DX on the 3DS because you can buy it on the.
I have it on the 3DS, but I haven't played that one. I've been playing it on my Switch.
Do you have the remake, or you're just playing the original on the Switch?
I have the remake.
Is that the one you've been playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I
despite
guess I don't know. I don't. I only played like an hour of the remake, and it felt really weird to me because
Yeah.
I had played DX like I guess not too long before that, and like DX has like a very particular rhythm about it in the way that like the screens move and the way that you know combat unfolds and everything, and the remake doesn't quite have the same rhythm. And the fact that it like just looks, it literally looks like it is made out of wood carvings. Like,
Yep.
it doesn't feel real at all. Like, it doesn't feel like it's even trying to be real. Whereas the original game, it's like a plot twist that it's all a dream. Like, you know, it didn't feel like it was less realistic than the other Zelda games to be playing it. But the remake is like, this is a toy set, you know, like this is a dream.
Yeah,
I know I made a video about it, but I don't really remember what I said. I think I just basically complained about the visuals. I forgot I did that though until just now.
It's funny because I think the visuals of that remake would bother me if they didn't pass it off as like everything's a toy. If it was just like that one Pokemon remake, the Diamond and Pearl remake, where it's it's just ugly. Everything's just on a grid but 3D for no reason. I would have been pissed.
Yeah, it's a weird aesthetic.
Okay, where the fuck am I going? I'm supposed to go back to the desert. That's right.
Queen Bee asked Slime Doll speedrun when. What do you think? Super Metroid, I know you can play very fast. Not
Yeah.
quite
I am
what
not
you
a
would consider
speedrunner.
like competitive speedrun speed, but it would still be considered a speedrun, I think. Are there other games you can play like really fast?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty decent at Mega Man X.
Ooh, that would be a good one. Hello, right here.
Oh my god, Bird is here.
Do you wanna show your face on the camera? Bird injured his chin really badly. He's wearing a big band-aid.
It's not
on
bad.
it. It's very bad. It's real bad. There's a lot of blood.
I just have the silver gauntlets now.
Oh, I also broke my toe.
and he broke his toe. Bird has injured himself like every which
This
way.
is kind of my first
in the
time
last couple
standing up
days.
today, and I am now consciously standing on one foot.
We're in the spirit temple.
Is that like a metaphor for drugs?
No, not in this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace out.
There's an astounding lack of drug metaphor in this particular Zelda. I feel like there are ones that do have them.
Srakia last Dark Souls. I think that was in regard to the speedrun question. I definitely could not speedrun Dark Souls. I'm not good enough at it. I play it very casually. I was much better at it when I was younger.
Yeah, I couldn't speedrun anything at all. Unless I really was gonna practice like this. If I just decided like, oh, I'm going to learn this, I'm gonna fucking sit down and play this game nonstop for months until I've mastered it. But I don't have that kind of energy towards any specific game.
Yeah, no. When I was younger, I had a friend in high school who... He had a way of playing video games where he would just get really fucking obsessed and cracked at a single game, playing it over and over again for months. Like, he came over to my house and played Smash Bros. On the Wii U one time. And
This room is amazing, real quick.
Yeah.
Just this is they got ramps and boulders.
for
They
real.
got everything here. Now, if this was Metroid Prime, you could fucking turn into a ball, and the challenge would be about timing your rolling against the boulders.
The Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs of Doom. Yeah, no, I
Metroid
had this
Prime
friend
is
in high
definitely
school
one
who,
of the-
like, he came over to my house and played Smash Bros. On the Wii U, like, one time. And just in the span of, like, a one-play session, he went from losing every match against me consistently to, like, winning half of them to then, like, winning consistently to where I could not beat him anymore. And then he
Damn.
just got obsessed with Smash Bros. And played it competitively for a while. Shit was crazy.
Damn, I feel like I've had that experience with a game, but I can't remember what. Probably just getting like I have a friend who was really amazing at fighting games, and so if I got him into a game he hadn't played that maybe I had an advantage on, like he was quickly going to take that advantage away and just master the game. Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax. That's the one I'm thinking of because I'm like decent at that game playing.
Is that the
like,
one where you
against the
beat up
computer,
Kirito?
but- What was that?
Is that the game where you beat up Kirito?
Yes, you can in fact beat up Kirito. I always play as what's her name? The little sister from Oreimo,
Oh god.
Kirino. Yeah. She's my main, and like it's funny because she's such a bad character in her show, but as a just fighting game character, she's amazing. So I have a soft spot for her as a fighting game character, in spite of how shit she is in her anime. But you can beat up Kirito, you can beat up Shakugan no Shana and Taiga from Toradora. You can have Kino and Boogie Pop as your supports. Not at the same time though, you only get one support. You can beat up fucking Shizuo from Durarara. You can have Izaya as your support. You can beat up the irregular at Magic High School. And fucking Rokubu. It's got a ridiculous roster. Also, you can fight in the fucking Sonic Green Hill Zone. Because the game's made by Sega, so all of the backgrounds are from Sega games.
That's funny.
Whereas the characters are all from Dengeki Bunko light novels.
Oh, that's
And the plot is that you're trying to save Moe Dreamcast Girl. Like, basically a personification of the Sega Dreamcast who has been, like, trapped in hell because the Dreamcast was a failure. And you're, like, fighting to save her soul, basically.
Sarakiel bought
I'm
that
not
game when she
even
went to
joking.
Japan on your recommendation. Oh my god. Awesome.
You don't have it anymore. I think I own a copy on PS3, I think. But it's better to just play it on an emulator. But the fucked up part is that only the game came out in the United States, shockingly, only on PS3. Nobody fucking played it. But they remade it like a year later because every fighting game pretty much gets like an update, rebalance. And that one never came out stateside, so I've never had the opportunity to play the whatever is the more true version of Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax. I always loved this mechanic, the refracting sunlight to burn fucking suns off the wall mechanic.
It always upset me how using, like, putting these sunbeams on anything, it would just activate, like, right away. I always wanted it to have a more, like, gradual effect. And then they added that in, like, I think Wind Waker, where it's, like, absorbing the sunlight more steadily. Like, it kind of charges up. I like that effect better. More satisfying.
The way the sun's face was so creepy is basically what was going to happen in Majora's Mask with the moon. Like,
yeah,
almost look the same. Could be like a similar model since Majora's Mask is mostly models from this game. Also, clearly must have inspired Soul Eater. The sun has a creepy ass face in that too.
And reminding me of something I fucking started and then abandoned an animation project when I was in high school. I wanted to use Flipnote Studio to reanimate the Soul Eater opening, but with Majora's Mask stuff instead.
That's ambitious as fuck.
It was too much. I basically, so the beginning of the song Resonance, it starts with that like ba-bum ba-bum ba-bum, showing like
and
Soul
then one
and
of the
Maka.
most incredible pieces of animation you will ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Of animated backgrounds and characters moving through them in three dimensions, and it's like an impossible sequence.
No way I could have recreated that accurately, but what I did, I just did the first three, like the little like ba-bum ba-bum ba-bum, and with that I animated like Deku Link, Gora Link, and Zora Link to that. Which, like, it looked for Flipnote.
How far did you get?
Fine.
Like, how many frames did you draw of that?
I don't know, maybe however many frames it takes to fill that, like, first 2 seconds, I guess. And then
so
I
maybe
was
48 frames.
Immediately burnt the fuck out and gave up.
Or 24, probably.
Because animating takes a long time.
Oh, yeah. It has, I mean, I think I'm probably going to make soon a video that is like a sequel to my practical creativity video, which is
real quick.
Yeah.
You can latch onto this statue's titties. It's the face.
Please do.
There's the titty.
Please show.
Yeehaw.
Incredible. People who made this game are perverts.
It's peak.
This room, by the way, is just fucking dope as fuck. Like, again, using the scale that's possible here for the first time. Like, the game never had anything this massive, so it feels like, wow, I can't believe it keeps finding a way to like up the ante. I feel like Uncharted owes a lot to this dungeon. In specific.
There's
a lot of like climbing statues and interacting with them and shit in those games.
Every Uncharted game has the same problem, where I spend so much time shooting people that my brain turns to mush, and then when the games ask me to do a real puzzle, I just can't do it. Like, I need to meander around for half an hour. I forgot how to think.
You just gotta stare at his notebook. Like, just gotta fucking stare at the notebook until you're like, oh, okay.
Shortcut.
I like those games. They're pretty good, except for Uncharted 3 is dog shit.
I used to hate that one, but on a replay, I found it much more fun than the first one, which is really boring.
I think the first one is hard to go back to on like a mechanical level because it just doesn't feel like it has bad game feel, and also some of those fucking jet ski levels are like literal dog shit.
Horrible.
So the first one has issues, but I just think like the story is good and cohesive, whereas
Yeah.
in 3 the story is fucking nonsense,
Yeah.
and
That's true.
the gameplay is also nonsense, and
No. There's a lot of nonsense in 3. I think I just get swept up in like the action set pieces, and the adrenaline overrides the frustration half the time. Because I know the first time I played it, there was some serious fucking bullshit going on. Be like the enemies they're like heavily armored and they have shotguns, and the fucking armor, like for some reason you just have to unload a certain amount of like bullets into them for the armor to break, and
yeah.
it's unhinged the way it works. Because what happened was one of the armored dudes walked up to me with his little shotgun, and I blasted him with a rocket launcher, and he didn't flinch, didn't even stumble for a moment, just his hat fell off. And without skipping a beat, he shot me one time and I died instantly. So that sucked. That was not good. Holy shit.
Yeah.
To get these things to float into the fire by moving around just right. This is awful.
I got so fucking nostalgic seeing this room that my brain like reset. What other game were we just talking about?
Uncharted.
Right. Yeah, that I remember the sequence you're fucking talking about too. Yeah, Uncharted 3 is frustrating, but I would say even if you gave that game like a 6 out of 10, it is still like the most like that game got like the highest review scores possible when it came out.
That's insane. I don't
And it,
understand
like,
that at all.
Well, it really frustrated me because it was a thing where like I think when Uncharted 1 came out, because it was a new IP, there wasn't really that much hype around it. And like not that many people had the PS3 yet, so it was like successful for PS3 owners, but not really like a known game that way. And then when Uncharted 2 came out, that one like blew everybody away and was like this critical darling and everything. And like at the time, I didn't see it as being like so tremendously better than the first game that it deserved like that like incredibly more reputation. It was more like, okay, people are finding out about this now. And so with 3, by that point it was like, oh well, 2 is this big critical darling, so we're expecting 3 to also be that way. And it's got all these giant set pieces and all this like visual stuff that like it probably was the best looking game that had ever like come out at the time. So I think there was like an era where reviewers who had been like playing video games for a long time became so overwhelmed by how much there is in video games that like they didn't know how to they didn't know how to grade it anymore. It's like like I remember when Grand Theft Auto 4 came out and Metal Gear Solid 4 came out, like GameSpot gave both of them 10 out of 10, and like neither one of them has been received that way like culturally in the long term. Like they both are considered very flawed games that you know, that were like overblown by critics when they came out.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, later games that improved on what those ones did like really showed you how it could have been done, and why those games were flawed. But I just think when they came out, like critics did not know how to be critical of them. They're just like, this is more than I've ever seen in a video game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even
more than I conceived of.
Even for me, like experiencing that era of video games in real time, like I felt like, you know, I was experiencing all this new shit for the first time. Like games were becoming more refined and like, I don't know, just like more things were possible than ever before. And for me as a teenager, it was really exciting and cool, and I loved shit like that. Like Uncharted 3 would have blown my mind, and I probably would have also said it was like a 10 out of 10. And it's only as I've gotten older that I've come to appreciate more and more of what makes games like interesting as games, and not just as like, I don't know, some kind of cinematic experience. Like Uncharted 3 starts out really cool, where it's like, oh, you're like in a dynamic like fist fight action sequence, and it's like a Spielberg movie where, oh, you like walked near this fucking shelf and then you just like smashed this dude's head against the shelf, and it didn't look, you know, scripted. Like it wasn't scripted or anything like that, just happened because you happened to be standing there. And you have those elaborate chase sequences where you're like running through people's houses and shit, and it's like, you know, like a Spielberg movie. It's like Indiana Jones. I'd never seen anything like that before, so I don't know, shit like that was impressive to me. But now it's like we've reached a saturation point where there are so many AAA games that are on that level technology-wise and presentation-wise that it's kind of not special anymore. And so when it's not special anymore, it's like, well, yeah, this is really flashy and neat, I guess, but like, why is all this fucking flair getting in the way of me playing the game?
Yeah.
Like, you've tried too hard to make it cinematic, and now I'm just like barely
Or like
interacting with the
comprehending the
movie.
story. You know, like in that game, the story is just like it definitely feels like they came up with set pieces for. I think they even admitted this, that they came up with set pieces first, and then they kind of fitted a story to that. And
Of
like,
course.
it just is full of holes and like stuff that just doesn't make sense. And you know, like the scene by scene experience just has no flow in the way that it had in the first two games.
Yeah.
And there's moments like, the rocket launcher stuff that doesn't make sense. The gunfighting really suffers under the weight of like trying to fit the gun. They try to make the gunfights that have like a very specific flow to them, and it just doesn't work because like the mechanics don't fit that. And it's really frustrating because it wasn't a problem in the first two games.
I always had two really big complaints with Uncharted 3. Complaint number 1, the villain sucks, which is boring. And complaint number 2, game is buggy as fuck, I swear. During like the ending sequence where Sully's like dangling off a cliff, hanging on for dear life, and there's like a guy about to like kick him off the ledge, and it's like, oh no, Sully's gonna die, and then you have to like shoot the bad guy before he kicks Sully off. I swear I unloaded that clip into that dude's face, like I fucking emptied it into him, and Sully died anyway, and I was like, what the fuck? So I try again and did the exact same thing, but it worked that time. It was so mad.
Amazing.
Completely takes you out of the story, because shit like that is what really fucking sucks, is that it can make you feel like a badass, but only when it works. And if it doesn't work, then it feels like the game is like trying to, you know, like it's trying to show off how cinematic it can be, but instead it's like you caught it with its pants down and it looks stupid.
Yeah, before we talk about Uncharted all the way through this room, I want to talk about how trippy and surreal this fucking room is. Like, room full of fake doors.
Real fake doors.
There's like an eyeball logo under one of them that summons an ice block hovering over a chest that's on fire. Like, it feels like something out of fucking Hereditary. Or like Alice in Wonderland, which this dungeon also makes me think of, in the way that you like, you know, you have to take one path where you're big, one path where you're small, through the same kind of environment. And like the fact that like as a kid you get the gauntlets, as an adult you get the mirror shield, but they're both just like right across from each other on two different like perches outside of the temple, which makes it really memorable. That like that's how you got them, was like you had to step outside to just the two smallest little, you know, places that are accessible outside, but you couldn't get to them anyway other than going through the temple and coming through the doors from the inside. I like that type of design, and it's the kind of thing that's like, it's difficult to describe why that's appealing or cool. It just has good rhythm, you know, like going into a building, doing all this shit, and then stepping back out to catch a breath, like getting the thing that lets you progress, you know, and like having that moment of, oh wow, like I could have seen this if I had looked up, you know, but there was no way to get up here other than through this like maze that somebody crafted for me, you know, to prove that I was worthy of this thing. I feel like I had another point to make about that. This is also a cool fucking room.
Yeah, we're getting into it now with all the sunlight puzzles.
Yeah, just there's so much more like use of, I feel like this dungeon has the most use of the 3D space, and like it really is testing to make sure that you understand these principles that like were established all the way back at the beginning of like, make sure you really look around and really understand like what direction things are facing, and this room looks sick. I'm amazed just like how much bespoke like imagery there is this late in the game. You know, that like some of the coolest looking shit is at the end of the game. Like I really feel like we don't get enough of that anymore.
Okay, see that was satisfying. It just
Yeah, that was
disintegrated
fucking
its
awesome.
face by holding the light on it for a few seconds. This is so cool.
And again, it's like the climax of you've been interacting with this big statue the whole time in little bits and pieces, and then you find yourself back there and like there's like a trippy, fucked up Indiana Jones way of entering the boss room.
Also, I love how the mirror shield is red. It just like matches my fucking red tunic.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
got the iron gauntlets and everything. Link has really transformed. Look much
Yeah,
more
he
badass.
looks the most badass he's ever gonna look, for sure.
Oh lord, here we go. 2 witches.
Oh, looks like someone is here, Kome.
Okay, you can be her, I'll be the other one.
Looks like it, Kotake.
It's gonna get hard to tell who's who.
What an outrageous fellow he is to intrude so boldly into our temple.
You should teach this outrageous fellow a lesson.
Oh, loyal minion.
Destroy this intruder on our behalf.
I love them. The 2 weird little bug-eyed Gerudo witches.
I feel like the first time a boss has really been established before you fight them too.
It's also a unique set piece where we're fighting a mini boss. We already entered the boss room. I used the big key. This is not the actual boss.
Yeah, I love that he's got this whole room with the destructible pillars too. Like,
Yeah.
this shit feels mad scary when you're like not confident about it, you know? Like,
Yeah. This is the this enemy is like a peak example of fucking like they figured out how to do the Zelda 2 thing, but not shitty.
yeah.
Made a much better game out of it. Like you're late enough in the game now that we feel confident enough to give you a real challenge with the sword fighting. This enemy's
shit,
not just
wait,
gonna
is it-
stand around and wait
Is
for
it
your
my
turn.
fucking
you know?
girlfriend and they possessed her to fight me? Those
You-
motherfuckers.
Well, looks like she's back to normal, Kome.
Girl, and she commands a lot of respect among the Gerudo, Kotake.
Maybe we should make her work for the great Ganondorf for a little while longer.
We should brainwash her again.
What the
yeah.
fuck?
They made her
What
disappear.
did they do to her? That was fucked up. Game's got fucking brainwashing in it.
Gary always is here. Yeah, we're right near the end of the game. After this boss fight, we just got Ganon's castle left. Very
See, this
exciting.
is what I'm talking about, though, where, like, when people talk about a game story like this, they're gonna be like, it's simple. And it's like, this game's got so much stuff. They brainwashed a lady, like...
With my flame, I will burn him to the bone.
With my frost, I will freeze him to his soul.
Gary always said, what, no ice arrows? I don't know what the ice arrows are even useful for in this game. completely
I assume
unnecessary.
you could probably shoot the fire one with the ice arrows.
I suppose, but I find this way more fun.
It's a cool ass arena. And this feels like crazy. Like having this is like the Ornstein and Smo fight of the N64.
True.
I'm always fascinated by the chain of influence because like obviously we've talked about this game being super influential on, you know, stuff like Dark Souls. But you and I started playing Dragon Quest again.
Yeah.
And we're doing it a bit different because like previously we just did like a kind of a standard let's play of Dragon Quest 1 for the first like hour and a half. And what we want to do instead is more of like a deep dive analytical type thing, but in a collaborative way.
Yeah.
So we're each recording our own playthrough of Dragon Quest 1 on our own time. We're doing our own commentary and everything. And then we're going to do a discussion of it and kind of intercut the discussion and the gameplay footage. Similarly to the way that the show previously recorded from Red Letter Media used to do. Holy shit, they fucking did a gemstone fusion.
They turn into a giant woman.
A giant woman. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love that they like can just de-age into like if they want to they can just become like a giant hot chick, you know? They just choose to be old witches most of the time. God damn, she rules. She's badass. Yeah, no, again, there's so much going on in this game. Like, those witches just fused into a hot Gerudo chick. Like, I feel like it's kind of under-discussed how many different things actually are in this game.
I'm absorbing her magic into my shield.
But yeah, like, so we've been playing Dragon Quest with the intentions of turning it into like a more edited, proper like analytical deep dive type thing. And as we've been doing that, I'm struck by how much I think it influenced specifically this game, and not really so much Zelda 1, which I'm sure was probably not influenced by Dragon Quest. I doubt the people who developed Zelda 1 had played Dragon Quest at all, even though I think Dragon Quest came out first, right?
I don't know. It's old
I
as
think Dragon
shit.
Quest was 84 or something, and Zelda's 85.
Magic.
I'll have to look that up later, but I think Dragon Quest came out first, but I don't think it was a major influence on Zelda. I think both of them were pulling from similar sources in games like Adventure. You know, Dragon Quest was pulling from Wizardry and Ultima.
Yeah.
Zelda was pulling from I hung out outside as a kid and I want to simulate it in a video game. But like, by the time you get to Ocarina of Time, not only would there be way more developers, you know, it's not directed by God damn it, I almost wanted to call him fucking Hayao Miyazaki for a second. Shigeru Miyamoto. You know, it's not directed by Miyamoto, but it is, you know, still influenced by him, still like probably executive produced by him.
Dead.
But like there's definitely influences from other games, you know, like beyond Nintendo. The people who worked on this had played stuff like Dragon Quest. I can't remember specifically what stuff I was like, oh wow, this is like Ocarina of Time, but like there was a few things I called out.
Shoot, what a fresh kid! And this time,
I didn't read it
Eh?
fast enough.
Hey, Kome, what is that above your head?
I don't know, but you have one over your head too, Kotake.
This is adorable.
But I'm only 400 years old.
Just 380.
We're twins. Don't try to lie about your age.
You must have gone senile.
Who are you calling senile? Is that how you talk about your older sister?
We're twins. How can you be older?
Yeah! How are you so ungrateful?
You heartless.
Ah, you ungrateful. I'll come back to haunt you.
That was hilarious.
beautiful.
I'm trying to think who. It reminded me of something, but I can't put my finger on
What, Team Rocket?
it.
Team Rocket's blasting off again.
I can see that. Yeah. I like that they had, because those characters were like a little more humanized. They didn't just like blow up. They like had a whole. They had souls, you know.
They'll come
Oh
back to
yeah, I
haunt
was
me,
gonna
alright.
say that them being 400 and 395 means they're younger than the Scarlet Sisters from Toho.
Kid, let me thank you. Look what the little kid has become in the past 7 years, a competent swordsman. By the way, I really messed up. I was brainwashed by those old witches and used by Ganondorf to do his evil will. But isn't it funny that a person like me could turn out to be the Sage of Spirit? And now I'm going to fight them as one of the 6 sages. I am going to pay them back for what they did to me. Kid, no, Link, the hero of time. Instead of keeping the promise I made back then, I give you this medallion. Take it.
Oh yeah.
me.
Can I eat it? Is it like a pizza?
Oh, it's a chocolate coin. You have to take the wrapper off.
Nabaru awakens as a sage and adds her power to yours.
Finally! All the sages.
If only I knew you would become such a handsome man. I would have groomed you from a young age. I should have kept the promise I made back then.
Literally every woman. Every woman in this game.
Do I do this voice? Yeah. Link, the hero. Finally, all of us, the 6 sages, have been awakened. The time for the final showdown with the King of Evil has come.
Oh boy.
Before that, though, you should meet the one who is waiting for you. The one who is waiting for you at the Temple of Time.
Pokey dokey.
I wonder who it could be. Place your bets, everybody.
I sure hope it's that hot ninja guy.
Imagine if Link is like hardline gay and he's been like super into Sheik and then he finds out it's Zelda and he's just like mad disappointed. I wanted to suck your dick. Now I have to suck on your dick.
I have been waiting for you, Link. Butt cheeks. Link, the hero of time. You have overcome many hardships and awakened 6 sages, and now you have a final challenge, a showdown with Ganondorf, the King of Evil. Before that, I have things I want to tell only to you. Please listen. Another unknown legend of the Triforce passed down by the shadow folk, the Sheikah. Another story? Oh my god. Can't believe we're still learning about the Triforce. If you would seek the sacred triangle, listen well. The resting place of the sacred triangle, the sacred realm, is a mirror that reflects what is in the heart. The heart of one who enters it. If an evil heart, the realm will become full of evil. If pure, the realm will become a paradise. The Triforce, the sacred triangle, it is a balance that weighs the 3 forces, power, wisdom, and courage. If the heart of the one who holds the sacred triangle has all 3 forces in balance, that one will gain the true force to govern all. But if that one's heart is not in balance, the Triforce will separate into 3 parts, power, wisdom, and courage. Only one part will remain for the one who touched the Triforce, the part representing the force that one most believes in. If that one seeks the true force, that one must acquire the two lost parts.
Danny didn't know Sheik was Zelda until this scene.
Those two parts will be held within others chosen by destiny, who will bear the Triforce mark on the back of their hand. That was that's such a corny explanation. The sacred triangles of the sacred realm of the sacred triangles of the sacred realm of the sacred... 7 years ago, Ganondorf, the King of Thieves, used the door you opened in the temple and entered the sacred realm. But when he laid his hands on the Triforce, the legend came true. The Triforce separated into 3 parts. Only the Triforce of Power remained in Ganondorf's hand. The strength of the Triforce of Power enabled him to become a mighty evil king, but his dark ambitions were not satisfied. To gain complete mastery of the world, Ganondorf started looking for those chosen by destiny to hold the other 2 Triforce parts. The one who holds the Triforce of Courage is you, Link. And the other, who holds the Triforce of Wisdom, is the 7th sage who is destined to lead them all. Badass!
Holy shit.
Incredible reveal moment.
What the fuck?
No
Somebody's
way.
been drinking the gender fluid really hard.
It is I, the Princess of Hyrule, Zelda. I apologize for meeting you in disguise, but it was necessary to hide from the King of Evil. Please forgive me. On that day, 7 years ago, Ganondorf attacked Hyrule Castle. I saw you as I was escaping from the castle with my attendant Impa. I thought I should entrust the Ocarina to you. I thought that would be our best chance. As long as you had the Ocarina in your possession, I thought Ganondorf could never enter the Sacred Realm, but something I could never expect happened. After you opened the Door of Time, the Master Sword sealed you away in the Sacred Realm. Your spirit remained in the Sacred Realm, and then the Triforce fell into Ganondorf's hands. He went on to invade the Sacred Realm. Ganondorf had become the evil king, and the Sacred Realm became a world of evil. All of this is an unfortunate coincidence. I passed myself off as a Sheikah and hoped that you would return. I waited for 7 years. And now, you are back. The Dark Age ruled by Ganondorf the Evil King will end. The 6 sages will open the sealed door and lure Ganondorf back into the Sacred Realm. I will then seal the door to the Sacred Realm from this world. Thus, Ganondorf the Evil King will vanish from Hyrule. Link, in order to do this, I need your courage again. Please protect me while I do my part. And here is a weapon that can penetrate the Evil King's defenses, the power given to the Chosen Ones. The Sacred Arrow of Light. It was a thing that you just, in the first Zelda, you just find it in a room. You need it to kill the final boss. No one tells you this. Maybe like an old man in a cave somewhere. A dirty old guy you don't know. Doesn't have a name. This game recontextualizes everything and makes it so fucking cool. That rumbling, it can't be.
Uh-oh.
Princess Zelda, you foolish traitor. I commend you for avoiding my pursuit for 7 long years. But you let your guard down. I knew you would appear if I let this kid wander around.
Lamau.
Thought I didn't know.
My only mistake was to slightly underestimate the power of this kid. No, it was not the kid's power I misjudged, it was the power of the Triforce of Courage. But with the Triforce of Wisdom that Zelda has, when I obtain these 2 Triforces, then I will become the true ruler of the world. If you want to rescue Zelda, come to my castle. Bring me that last piece.
He just gotta have every piece of the pie. What a bastard.
Wanted to say, Zerakiel said, early Nintendo games really like to have badass ladies that you don't know are women. I definitely think there's a sense culturally worldwide that I think probably is true, that men are just more brutal overall than women. And the more men have control, the more brutal the world will be. And when you're in a patriarchal system, men will seek out and destroy femininity or seek to control it and capture it. No, I'm not going to read this. Who cares? They're building a bridge.
Yep.
So when you're in a system where men are in control, it's dangerous to be a woman, not just in the sense that men are stronger, but that they're trying to prove how much stronger they are, and by eradicating femininity and they just have more volatility towards it. So the more a system is rotted and more in control of an evil despotic man, the harder it is to be a woman within that space. And so if you are a woman who is tough enough to try and compete in that space, you are almost required to disguise yourself as a man in order to infiltrate. Obviously this is the Mulan story. That whole movie is just about this idea that that everything a man is trying to be is something they're deliberately trying to be. And so if a woman is trying to be all of those things too, then she won't register as unqualified to that manliness. It's just that what those people are aspiring to isn't really something innate to manhood. It's just something they ascribe to manhood, And so Zelda is trying to give that appearance, in part just, again, it's an easy... if you're going to disguise yourself, being the entire opposite gender is a pretty good way to do it, But there's also this implication that, this is a world that is too dangerous to operate as a woman inside of it, Zelda has to pretend to be a man and to have that level of hardness and viciousness in order to fit in with the system. And even if she didn't feel the need to literally pretend to be a different gender, she is taking on these qualities that are considered as masculine socially, even if they're not literally masculine in actuality. But I think Sheik is in that way very similar to Kino from Kino's Journey, where Kino doesn't really care about their gender. It's not something that's on their mind. They are explicitly, assigned female at birth and grew up feminine, and then took on a not deliberately masculine, just a pragmatic identity that is taken as masculine because that is the expectation we have, is that that men are expected to live in this pragmatic, serious, dark world, when in actuality the world of men is ruled by these people like Ganondorf, who are totally operating on emotions, not really on logic. They just want to be in control. Being in control makes them feel safe, but actually puts a huge target on your back when your control doesn't work for everybody else. You're almost inevitably going to be stopped by an actually good person, like a Link, who's just following the will of the people. And then that's my super in-depth analysis. In the case of like Samus, I think part of it was also like games were very much seen as like marketed towards boys. And so if you could kind of trick boys into playing a game, like if you wanted to have a girl character but not suggest that it's a game for girls, you know, like there's an aspect of kind of tricking boys into playing the game without telling them that they're secretly playing as a girl. But it's like once you reach that point, it's like, well, it doesn't change all the badass stuff I did. Like I can't say that this girl is not capable of doing all that stuff because I literally did all that, not even realizing I was a girl the whole time, you know? Anyway, that's me going deep into my feminist critique bag for this Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Let's Play live stream show, while Krona fends off wall masters and lights things on fire with a shield. I love the purple-blue aesthetic of these doors also.
Yes. Purple is the
What the
best
fuck is
color
happening?
to representing the evil stuff, because purple is a good color, and I like looking at it.
Purple is the best.
Light arrow. The strange mass of magic shit. Blow it up.
Shot a fucking, like, ovum to pieces.
Like a
Oh, hey, it's her.
balloon.
The spirit barrier is dispelled. Hurry up, kid.
Okay, so it's gonna be a barrier for each temple, right?
Yep. And I always
I
do
remember
them
as a
in
kid,
reverse
like,
order.
finding that out and being like, but there were, like, 6 temples! It's gonna take forever!
It's like 2 rooms for each one.
I'm sure it was just, like, that time, like the game had been going long enough that I was probably really tired and, like, ready for it to be over
Oh yeah.
by the time we got here, you know? And then being like, oh, this is gonna be, like, a whole thing. Like, this is gonna be longer than all the other temples.
After playing a few turn-based RPGs back to back, I've come to realize that anytime I feel like I'm close to finishing a game, I need to convince myself that there's actually like an additional 10 hours left, or else I'm going to feel
Yeah.
disheartened when it's, you know.
Yeah, I learned that from playing Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Which like is not even as hard as a lot. Like if you were playing like a Atlas game, like Megami Tensei and stuff, I highly suspect that most people who are fans of those games have not beaten the final bosses because they really require you to do everything. Like if you don't have all the special weapons, if you didn't do all the side content, if you didn't get like the best summons, you know, like you're just not gonna make it through because the boss has like infinite fucking health. And will like sweep your team in 2 turns, you know, and like you're just constantly healing and attacking and
Yeah.
making like the tiniest dent in the thing. And if you're not at like a certain level, it could probably heal itself more than you can even damage it. So like Final Fantasy X isn't quite that brutal, but it is like if you don't grind yourself to like if you try to skate by on like you can beat most of the game with that like being the minimum level that you could be to do that encounter if you just do the tactics really well. And that fight is like even if you learn the tactics, if you make one little tiny mistake, you are fucked unless you are like a decent amount over leveled, you know. So I definitely had to do like last minute grinding and like a game that was like, you know, probably 3 days of consistent playing and then like me thinking, oh, okay, I'm just going to beat the final boss today and then I'll be done with this game. And then it's like 7 hours and I'm like, fuck. This was like a fourth of my playtime.
Yeah. Just a fair warning. That's essentially Dragon Quest II in a nutshell.
Oof.
Like I literally told one of my friends like, oh yeah, I made it to like near the end of Dragon Quest 2. I'm probably gonna finish this game real quick and then start Dragon Quest 3 tonight. And I spent the whole fucking day grinding for the final boss. It was fucking agony.
Yeah. Just gotta take that as an expectation that like actually beating the game is a different different game from just playing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you have to express mastery to actually make it through.
A lot of RPGs are built like that, where they'll be like a steady, like a pretty steady difficulty curve until you get to the very end, and then it's like, okay, skill check. It's like a way
Shadow
steeper.
Hearts Covenant is an example of a game where I made it to the final boss and just could not after a few attempts, and like, you know, realizing I had missed too much side content.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
me
just
with
like,
Chrono
I'm not.
Trigger.
There's no way I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, I need to reset the whole fucking game.
Yep, I did basically everything in Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo, and the final boss was too hard for me, and I felt like an idiot because the rest of the game up to that point was pretty easy. It hurt my feelings. Wish I could wear the hover boots without them being so slippery, because I love the aesthetic.
I think I beat the final boss in Soul Blazer, but that was another one where it was like a pretty big uptick in difficulty unless you got like 5 levels higher.
Yeah. I remember being really pissed off with... with almost every Dragon Quest, I had to do some grinding for the final boss, except Dragon Quest V. I managed to riz my way through that boss fight with just pure skill and strategy alone, and I felt like a god. It was the most satisfied I've ever been finishing a video game. Helps too that Dragon Quest V has like a pretty fucking good story. Got me emotionally invested in everything.
I love the fucking design of this tower. It's so like...
Yeah.
Like, I like that even though it's gray, it's not like bleak. There's this really nice mix of like reds in the palette to make it feel kind of alive. And the fact that each area you go into is like a totally different vibe. I definitely feel like these last couple of temples were like the biggest influence on Final Fantasy X's temples, just because they also have that kind of religiosity conveyed in simpler or similar types of ways.
Still have some blue fire from way back when. Holy shit. Okay. Rude.
You know, I feel like the phrase backtracking is like kind of a odd and maybe even dated complaint about games. 'Cause like in this game, it's very normal to go back and forth through the same room more than once. And like, I feel like a lot of games, people will complain about that, but like the opposite, like it's just really the difference between being an adventure game versus being a platformer. Like in Mario, you never go back because the challenges are built to be done one after another. In this game, you're meant to like live in the world and like be there. So it doesn't feel weird that you go back through places you've been. And I would say the same thing about like Metroid Prime, where people complain a lot about backtracking in that game. And to me, it's like, that's the point. Like you're not, it's not a game you just blast through. It's not just a set of challenges. It's like the game is about navigation. It's about how well do you know this environment? How well can you, you know, find your way through the puzzle, like, you know, challenge of the space. And I feel like even Zelda 1 was like that, and yet somehow this, like, it's still taken for granted that you can criticize a game for backtracking, and I just feel like that's not a good description of a bad thing in a video game, you know?
I don't know. I could see some of the complaints with Metroid Prime in particular. I mean, I get pretty sick of running back and forth across all of Magmore Cavern. And it's like, I don't get sick of that in like other Metroid games, because like the 2D ones are like, it's shorter. You don't have as much surface area to cover. It's like the whole game goes by much quicker.
I
like,
really disagree. I feel like maybe you don't know your way around Magmore Caverns that well, or like
I don't
didn't
know.
get
I mean,
enough power up. Because like
there's
the
also
funny
a
thing
lot
about
of rooms in Metroid Prime where you literally have to like kill all the enemies before you're allowed to move on, and that
Not
infuriates
really.
me.
I guess there's the
teleporting
ones with
guys.
the like later in the game when you've got the like the Will-o'-the-Wisp dudes that show up.
Yeah.
And you have to kill them before you can leave the room. Like there's that, but I don't think you have to fight them like more than a couple times. But like in that game, like for instance with Magmore Caverns, like I love going there because uh once you have like 5 or so energy tanks, you realize that like the lava doesn't take that much damage off of you, so you can just run through it and get through those rooms like really fast.
Yeah.
Like
I
so there's a
guess.
lot of stuff where it's just I feel like Metroid Prime is a way faster game the more confidence you play it with. Like if you run through it feeling um like you're not worried about taking damage, you're just worried about getting from point A to point B, like you can just like haul ass through a lot of the game and not really not even like interface with a lot of the challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
But it does take some like it takes a lot of getting used to its weird rhythm of gameplay, but like
Yeah, I think
once
there's
you
probably
start just
some...
using the charge shot consistently, like the shootouts stop being a challenge.
Yeah. There's probably some finesse in with that game that I just haven't gotten the hang of, because honestly, like in my experience, Super Metroid is just a quicker, easier game. Like, I don't know. It has a lot more... I find a lot more things in Super Metroid, like little shortcuts, like little convenient ways, that like one-way exits that get you out of a room quicker than you got into it, and stuff like that.
That game is definitely like idealized for speed running.
Yeah.
In that way that it's like it's built to be sequence braked and like have all these different methods of navigation.
Giving you the
Metroid Prime
speed
definitely
boost
isn't as
power-up.
deep on that like front, but I do think it's much more so built as a game that you're meant to play more than once and like build a map of the most effective route through it, because it is not a long game. Like I straight up the like second time I played through it, I beat it in like 5 hours or something like that, where I think it was like I did 12 hours on my first run and then 6 hours on my second run, and that second run was like a one sitting type thing. It was like the next day after beating it, I just went through the game again and realized that like yeah, like a lot of stuff that I had really like agonized over the first time, once I knew the solution, it felt like nothing. You know, it was like, oh okay, you can just jump right through that, you know. Or once you have like know where all the energy tanks are, for instance, like again, you get your life so high up that there's not enough space between save rooms for you to even really take that much damage, that it becomes like threatening, you know.
Maybe I should watch you play it sometime so I can learn
I
your
definitely
fucking
think it's a
technique.
shorter game than this. Like if you're good at both,
Oh, yeah.
then Metroid Prime is shorter than Ocarina.
I'm not good at Prime, so for me, Prime is about as long as this game. Both like 12 to 13 hours.
I've got like the Metroid Prime music in my head now.
Yeah. I mean, it's also just, I haven't felt the need to come back to Metroid Prime as many times because I feel like it requires a lot of fighting stuff, and I kind of hate the way fighting stuff feels in that game. I like the default, like, pellet blaster is fine, but once you get, like, the wave beam and stuff, I'm like, oh, this takes forever.
The wave beam does not feel as good, but yeah, again,
None
like
of
with
them
that
do.
game, it really is like, in the same sense that like with Samus Returns, like that game is so dedicated to the fucking
Yeah.
parry function that like it feels like if you don't enjoy parrying, the game is just worthless. Like
I feel like
I
do
feel that
enjoy
way about the
parrying, but I
charge shot
hate-
in Metroid Prime. Like if you don't get used to just literally every enemy you fight starting with the charge shot, it's like
Yeah.
the game is just too hard. Like, but if you do start every encounter with the charge shot, it literally it like nullifies the difficulty of the game, because
Yeah.
every enemy is designed to be taken down with a charge shot and like 5 bullets, or like a charge shot and 1 missile. You know, like
I mean, it was never
So-
an issue of difficulty for me, just time. Like, it just takes forever to charge your beam for everything. It's like, eh.
interesting. Never felt that way for me. But I'm always charging it before, like I'm charging it in anticipation of the fight, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like I start the fight and I already have a charged beam, kill the first enemy, you know, and then I charge it up by the time the next one gets to me, and so it just kind of feels like
I feel like that's
taking him out.
smart, but also would drive me insane having to hold the button all the time. And like, it's funny you brought up Samus Returns, because I kind of hate combat in that game for the same reason, which is that it takes fucking forever. Because for some, like, I like games with parrying mechanics, but Samus Returns is stupid. Because every time you parry, you have to stop moving.
Yep.
Like you have to
I
come
felt
to a
exactly
dead
the same
fucking
way.
stop, so that
It
you
felt
can.
like my momentum was constantly being just shut off, and it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't feel good.
It feels terrible, and like, and the game is designed in a way that you can't fucking avoid it either, because every enemy does that little sparky animation where they go ting, and then they fucking rush you. So like, you can't even ignore the enemies like you did in the other games. Not allowed to run past any of them. They all fucking come at you and they're annoying. Thank goodness they fucking fixed that in Dread. That was like my biggest concern, is I'm like, oh boy, Dread was made by the same guys who made Samus Returns. I sure hope this doesn't suck.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, they fixed basically all my complaints in Dread. Dread fixed everything. It's a much better game.
I also feel like I need to point out while we're having the Metroid Prime conversation that I do not like Metroid Prime 2 at all and have not played 3.
I haven't played 3 either. I played a bit of 2. And like, I thought it was cool, just like not, I don't know. Like, it's fine, but it does bum me out how much more brown and gray and tan everything is compared to Prime 1.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as pretty, and also it's like it's way more, it feels like it's more narrative driven in a bad way, where like the early levels of the game are designed around like like conveying a specific sequence in like a Half-Life kind of a way,
Yeah.
where like when you go back through those zones, they feel pointless. Like Metroid Prime 1 is designed in such a way where like you are expected to go back and forth through the environments, so they are always interesting to go back and forth through. Like there's multiple ways to get through them. There's, you know, there's like a level where you get to know that world and it feels natural. It feels like it is the natural extension of like all of the creatures that live there. You can understand how they evolved to be in that environment, you know, like it feels lived in and like real, and Metroid Prime 2 is just missing that. It feels like way more video gamey, way less like naturalistic, and just like it's not a world I would want to get lost in, which is all I want from Metroid. Like that's literally the point, is to get lost in this interesting alien world. And Metroid 2 just felt like really generic and sterile by comparison to the first game to me.
Kind of funny, because I
it's
felt
one of
like
those...
they were going for making it feel more natural and less video gamey by making the environments so dull. But I like they designed it more like a bad Zelda dungeon. Like the whole game is kind of a tedious, long Zelda dungeon with the way the fucking puzzles are laid out. Switch to the dark world, switch to the light world, but it's like fucking not very fun.
It's the most overextended version of what's happening in this game for sure. And like it, yeah, like you said, it's like more realistic in the aesthetic, but the actual layout of the environments just lacks that natural. It's more like tunnels, you know. It's more like straight narrow corridors that feel like a video game, whereas the first game was like all these elaborate rooms that like it almost feels incidental that there is these gamey components to it, you know. And granted, it's still like a silly video game in certain ways, you know. It's not like a totally real, like it doesn't feel super immersive in that way of something that's actually trying to be realistic, but it has its unique ebb and flow, and it's easy to get lost in it and like feel like you're in that world, and like the whole world exists inside your head. In a way, it is very similar to this game, you know, in that it is about looking around, it's about navigating, learning the environment, learning where everything is, being, you know, able to map a quicker course to it every time you play it. And then Metroid Prime 2, like, it just feels way more like something you would not want to have to play twice, you know. Definitely not back to back that way. Like the way with this game, you could put this game down and pick it right back up, you know. I don't think you could do that with Metroid Prime 2.
No, for
Metroid
sure.
2 you could. It would be kind of daunting though, because that game is repetitive.
Yeah. And then there's Metroid Prime 3, which neither of us have touched. I presume for the same reasons.
I just heard a lot of things about it that didn't seem like it would be that interesting to me.
Yeah. Like, it's much more action heavy, and aesthetically it tries to look like Halo, because Halo was popular at the
Yeah.
time. If there is anything that anything further from what a Metroid game should be, it's trying to copy what's popular right now.
Especially when Halo's like its main competition. Like when you think about
Thinking of those games
Like-
as being in competition is so fucking weird to me too, because they're entirely different genres of game.
well, and that's why they're in competition to me is like they are the two different sides of like trying to make a like space marine like in both games you are like a person in a suit that fights aliens on alien planets, you know, and like a significant part of the game is like getting lost in a big spacious alien planet and shooting guns.
Yeah,
But, like-
it's like the most surface level similarities.
And that's why like Samus and Master Chief have been like, you know, there's like the haloid animation and stuff, and like this insistent on them
Haloid.
like being somehow related, just in that they have aesthetic similarities. I'm sure Master Chief was influenced by Samus too, but like I definitely think both of them are heavily pulling from the Alien franchise and like what they're Metroid is pretty obviously just cribbing its whole aesthetic from the Alien franchise.
Yeah.
HR.
Halo maybe a little more subtle about it, but it's still that is like the main aesthetic drive, you know. But like another part of it is that they were the top of the line like graphical showcases of their era, and I'll never forget seeing on like G4 TV in 2004 there was like a special of, I think it was an X-Play episode that was like the top 10 best looking games that existed at the time. And this was slightly before Half-Life 2 came out and like became the one that everybody would cite. But it was Halo and Metroid Prime. Like those were considered the two best looking video games of their era.
Yeah.
And like, you know, both of them were for similar reasons, like portraying this interesting alien environment. But like Halo is designed, even though the maps are very open and big, it is a linear game. You play through those areas once, you do the big set piece, and then you do the next part of the game. And Metroid Prime is like this recursive, like you really have to learn the whole fucking world and like, you know your way around it by the end. But in Metroid, that world is so like densely packed that it is worth knowing it on that level. Like if you do study it, you will find all these extra power-ups and all this stuff that makes it like even more fun to engage with that world. You know, you keep getting better at moving around it and such. And in Halo, like replaying the whole game all the way through is a fun experience, but like no individual part of it is like as memorable as, you know, the rooms in Metroid. It's you more so remember the shootouts and like the, you know, the crazy gunfight moments that were really difficult, how you plotted your course through the gunfight, as opposed to just like remembering the environments because they were interesting in and of themselves, which I think is the case for this game and for Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
And this is not me at all knocking Halo, by the way. I'm a huge Halo fan. I really love both franchises.
Haley's just offended that you're comparing her precious Halo to a Nintendo game.
I thought that might be why she said wrong, and I'm like, this is not an insult, by the way.
Yeah.
I have played Halo 1 a lot of times. And,
Which is also how we know that while Halo 1 is a very fun experience to come back to, there's that one part that kind of fucking sucks.
it's like when you make it through a stage in Halo, you can go back through it and like re-explore it. you will not find, usually, I mean, unless you're like looking for the skulls or whatever, like you're not going to find something that was worth that time other than like, oh, it's fun that the environment is big. But like it's also kind of like when you try to find the borders of the environment, you realize how small they really are. Like they're not as big as they feel if you just kind of follow the gunplay and like let that far corner be that far corner, because if you walk over there, there's nothing over there and it's just the edge of the map, you know. So like I feel like with Metroid there is more of this incentive to like, if you go over there, there might be a breakable wall, and behind that is like a tunnel that you can fucking snake through and find a power up or something, you know?
I'd say the Metroid series is definitely unique in how many of those rooms in those games I can like recall the exact layout of.
Yeah.
It's very easy to build a mental map because all the rooms are so distinct and memorable. I remember parts of Halo, but like I remember what the
each
environments
like level
looked like,
of Halo
but I don't
more
remember.
holistically.
Like I don't
Where,
remember
like,
the layout.
Because like in Halo 1, it's like you've got the whole you start off on the ship, and then you're on the surface of the planet, and then you're like inside of the buildings interiorly to the surface. And so like each environment feels unique and big, but there's a lot of reused kind of concepts where it's like when you're on the surface of the planet, you've got these big garrisons or whatever you'd call them, like the fucking the buildings that you fight the bad guys in, you know, and like you'll fight through a few of those buildings that are kind of similar, and you know, like you will kind of learn the layout of that place while you're doing that gunfight. But again, it's like there's not a secondary like in Metroid, you're expected to do a gunfight in the place and then literally go like granularly fucking morph ball into the walls, you know, and like find every little minute secret. So it's like there's not a single room that's like an extra room. There's not a room that's like just a hallway, you know. There are a couple. I'm not going to act like it's that serious in Metroid Prime, but like there's not a lot of vestigial stuff. It's all there for a reason. And so it makes it so by the end of the game you really do know your way around the whole fucking world, you know. Which I also think is true in this game. Like in Ocarina of Time, the world's not as big, but you just interact with each part of it more than once. There's almost never a place you just come to. You know, I feel like the Gerudo Valley and Spirit Temple feels the most disconnected just because you only go there as an adult. Oh, well, I shouldn't say that. You come back as a kid, but like, you know, it's only at the end of the game. But that also makes it feel kind of special. And like we already said, it has like all these implications about how the world is so much bigger than it seems once you've gotten to know it. And then you got Ganon's castle. It's just this big final fucking test of courage.
You know, Haley, I gotta disagree. I actually find Halo 1's scenery much more memorable than 2 or 3. I liked 2 a lot, but I don't find 2 half as memorable. I think because, I don't know, it might just be because those games had more variety in the environments you were in, whereas Halo 1 was more like you're in a couple different places for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably
I definitely
helps.
remember, because Halo 2 has... I think part of it is also that Halo 2 kind of redid some of the set pieces from 1. Like, they both open on the spaceship. Halo 2 just has, like, the outdoor segments that Halo 1 didn't have. So, like, it kind of was like a fleshed out expansion of those ideas. But to me, like, the most memorable part of Halo 2 is the second level where it's in the city and you've got the giant fucking scarab tank walking through the city. And, you know, you use the tank across the bridge for that one part and shit. But yeah, I definitely think, like, Halo 2, the later game, like, a lot of the stuff with the Arbiter, it just feels like I'm in dark corridors or I'm in hangar. There's a lot of fucking hangars in Halo. A lot of just, like, fighting in a ship launch dock or whatever. And even more so in Halo 2.
Talking about this makes me want to buy an original Xbox and play the old Halo games again.
I think I've got one around, so we could definitely do some Halo multiplayer. To me, Halo you cannot play it by yourself. It's not a one-player game. Like,
I tried playing
it
Combat
is
Evolved
one of
by
the best
myself,
co-op
and it was
experiences.
Yeah, I played Halo 1 and 2 with Haley, and it was a really good time.
Yeah, 1 and 2 I really love. I do not like Halo 3.
It's definitely worse than the
Because
first
of-
two, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
I don't like it because of Cortana interrupting you all the time. Like
Yeah,
how often you just like you start moving slow and then she just starts like yelling at you and I'm
that
like
is the worst
I'm
part.
trying to fucking play the game.
Any game that does that annoys me, though. It's like every time a Batman game slows you down for a quick little conversation. Oh boy, look at this fucking cutscene. This is so cool.
I do remember when Halo 3 came out. That's another one of those games where like the graphics literally blew my mind to fucking pieces when the game came out. The Triforce parts are resonating. They are combining into one again. This scene looks fucking amazing. The 2 Triforce parts that I could not capture on that day 7 years ago.
It's the three chosen ones standing in a triangular formation.
Oh my god, cinema, art. I didn't expect they would be hidden within you, too. And now, finally, all the Triforce parts have gathered here. These toys are too much for you. I command you to return them to me.
Holy shit.
The fuck is he doing?
Link, can't help you. Because of the waves of darkness, I can't get close. I'm sorry, Link.
Oh well, nosy targeting for this fight.
That's wild. It's funny to think that Link just would not be capable of Z targeting without Navi being there to stand next to the enemy. Also did not remember that this was a thing for this fight, that you had no Z targeting.
Yeah.
Say you're sick of people complaining about the Cortana interruptions because it doesn't happen that much. Yeah, but it happens at all.
It does happen that much, though.
I mean, that's kind of how I feel about like when Crota is saying things about like it takes too long to like charge up the charge shot or whatever. Like I feel that similar sense of like, well, okay, I guess if that is something that bothers you, then the game is going to be unplayable. You know, like it's like yeah, I could play Halo 3, or I could just play Halo 2 again. You know. But I also don't replay games that often. So, like, for me, playing Halo is like a once every 5 years event type thing, you know? That, like, I'm probably just going to play whichever one the other person wants to play, you know? God, Halo's like 20 fucking years old now.
Oh, I made quick work of that guy.
Yeah, fuck Ganondorf.
Big Goron sword.
Show me the real one.
The great evil King Ganondorf, beaten by this kid? Ugh. Link.
Another one of those fights that you made look really trivial, but I remember it being like a 30-minute ordeal the first time I watched someone do this. And the second time I watched. I remember Victor really struggling with this fight because of the non-Z targeting. He kept fucking falling off the ledge. And I think if you fall, you take damage too, but there's like pots you can heal with down there. That fight can take a really long time if you're not good at it.
It's like Haley saying, I hate the Cortana thing too, but it's such a minor thing that gets blown out of proportion. I don't know, because I haven't played Halo 3 in a long time, but the only thing I remember about it is Cortana interrupting me all the time.
Yeah, I remember that
The
and
most
the
memorable
ending part where you have to drive on the fucking falling like
Yeah.
platforms being
That
like
too.
a total pain in the ass.
Ganondorf, pitiful man. Without a strong, righteous mind, he could not control the power of the gods, and
Uh-oh. She's all like concluding, drawing her conclusions, being all done with it, being like, huh.
she was about to start another exposition dump and she got interrupted. Link, listen to me. The tower will collapse soon. With his last breath, Ganondorf is trying to crush us in the ruins of the tower. We need to hurry and escape. Please follow me. Okie dokie. The way she walks is kind of funny.
Haley said that level is fun as fuck. What do you mean? It's literally a fan favorite. It doesn't matter. Crowd pressure means nothing to me. 100 million screaming fans can all be wrong.
It's that fucking Rick and Morty shit. What does he say? Your boos mean nothing to me. I've heard what makes you cheer.
Back from dinner for the finale, Absolute Cinema. Yeah, this was... I mean, this was another one of those segments that kind of blew my mind as a kid, because who would expect it to just not be over? You know, like, you beat Ganondorf. It should be done. Like, why do I have to run out of the castle? What is all this nonsense? Like,
This is kind of epic, though.
this is one of those parts where fucking up at is really frustrating. Like,
Yeah.
Like, you're so ready for the game to be over, and then you, like, fall off the side of the castle, and you're just like, mother of a fuck!
You know, the worst part, too, is if you die fighting the final boss, you have to do this whole chase scene again.
Oh.
To run through the whole fucking castle. I remember trying really hard to beat Ganon on my 3DS and dying like 3 times and getting so fucking mad.
That is so annoying.
This final boss fight is also a little bit ruined on the 3DS because, you know, since it's on a handheld, if you're playing the game in sunlight, it can be hard to see the screen. So that means they had to completely like brighten up the final boss fight and kill the atmosphere to make it visible on a 3DS.
Gary always said, Trixie, say Kakarot in your Ganondorf voice. I want to see something. Kakarot!
Like Ocean Dub Vegeta.
She just has those?
It's her love for me spilling out. I think that
Over
was
9,000!
I'm pretty sure that was a thing in like Twilight Princess. There's those fucking Yetis that are in love with each other, and like a bunch of little hearts come out of their love for one another, and then like a heart container sprouts out of them.
That's adorable.
I like
You
that,
ever
that
fucking
idea.
run into all these goddamn rubbles and debris or have them fall on your head? That makes you feel extra dumb. I think they can catch you on fire too.
Yeah. You burn.
Fucking lose your Kokiri shield in the middle of the falling rock segment at the end of the game.
The worst is every time I get hit by a rock, I can hear Zelda going, because she's like upset that I'm taking damage. Shut up.
What the fuck? There's a re-dead right before the ending? That is just trolling right there.
Ignoring that.
That is
Fucking
pure
annoying.
troll. You're like at the very end of the fucking castle and they throw a re-dead freeze.
Ah,
Hilarious.
get me out of here, Zelda. Yo. Look at those graphics. Oh, I'd like to get my hands on that game.
It's not, you know, it's not that bad. It's kind of cool.
The Legend of
dismantling
Zelda
the-
is really bad. Those monsters from Ganon are pretty rad.
These explosions are pretty solid. There's I used to make fun of the fact that, like, for whatever reason, Namco games would have like the weakest fucking explosions. Like, there's like a really dramatic scene in, I think, Tales of Symphonia, where like there's all this build up to this blimp like crashing into the side of a cliff, and when it happens, it's just like the blimp disappears and there's like the puniest little you know, like explosion effect. And it just made me laugh hysterically. I think like Baten Kaitos had some weak explosions. That might actually be the one I'm thinking of that had that. I think maybe both. Namco RPGs, weak explosions. Not like this. That was you know, you had like a lot of explosions. They felt big. The whole castle collapsed. It was like
Yeah.
Akira.
It's over. It's finally over.
So you motherfucking think.
I'm sorry I couldn't help you in the battle before.
It's okay. You can help me in this one.
I just like how the wall textures are all spread out on the floor. It's like that castle was made out of paper. Like fell like a house of cards.
This is such a like Disney ending of like, all right, now it's like the hero, the girls at your back, the demons in front of you, and you just gotta kill the demon. You know, like we've uh taken away all pretension and boiled it down to brass tacks here.
A wall
You're an
of
adventurer.
fire.
You're saving the princess from this big fucking guy. You know.
Oh my god.
I didn't realize he had like long flowing hair like that.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Serakiel said if he can become a monster and he's Ganon, does that mean normal Ganondorf is just Dorf? Holy shit. This is so cool, by the way. It's like reveal that this whole game is like an origin story for how he became a giant pig man.
Oh, is that how you take it? I didn't think of it. I had always thought of it like he was suppressing this. Like he was always secretly this.
I thought the Triforce of Power let him become this.
I see.
There's no way he's going to hold me back again. This time we fight together.
I love this music.
What changed though?
Also, this game was literally reported to be a prequel to A Link to the Past when it came out, and in A Link to the Past, like, the text of that game describes how a man named Ganondorf Dragmire became the monster Ganon.
I did not know that at all. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, The Link to the Past literally explains this game in, like, a couple quick text boxes.
I know that like the Zelda timeline or whatever, like says this is the first period, right? Like this is the
Well,
start of the timeline, I think.
it was, but then they made Skyward Sword.
Right. And that was why they like clarified the timeline so that it could be like a prequel to everything, right? Or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, pretty much. Skyward Sword is the genesis of Zelda. I like it made me think of the Angry Video Game Nerd where he did a goofy little video about the Zelda timeline. He's like going over it all like, so they made the first game, then they made a sequel, then they made a prequel, then they made a sequel to the prequel, then a prequel to the prequel, and then the prequel's prequel got a sequel. I can't tell what the fuck is happening.
Yeah, that sounds right. And he's smaller than I remember. I remember this feeling like a really gigantic, overwhelming boss. Maybe just because of how fucked the camera is.
Yeah.
I mean, this would have been like physically the most massive boss anyone had probably ever fought in a video game in fucking 1998.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. I found this super difficult when I was young.
This part I remember being like,
Hurry up.
I've at least once watched someone not being paying attention and realizing what needs to happen here, just kind of floundering about while he sits there. I think, is it possible that he'll like get back up and you have to knock him back down again
Oh, I have
if you
no
take too
idea.
long? I'm not sure about that.
Use the Master Sword. Destroy Ganon with the Sacred Blade.
I'll do it. Only because you told me to.
It took me a minute to realize the Master Sword is actually required to kill this guy too. You try to use anything else, he just won't die. It is the blade of evil's bane.
Kick his ass. Literally, his ass. Aim for the ass. Oof. Pretty fucking cool arena too, just like the surrounded by fire and all that. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance did this with its final boss. And it was awesome.
Do I have another fairy? Yeah, I'm fine.
Fuck you, Ganon.
Yo.
Got him, motherfucker.
The way his nose wiggles around. I'm using my power to hold the evil king. Use your sword and deliver the final blow.
Love this too, that Zelda like gets to be a part of it, the
Yeah.
killing blow.
I think the Wind Waker has a final boss fight that's a lot like this one, but even fucking cooler.
Definitely. Love that.
Hell yeah. It's so
It
violent.
is the first two slashes just to kind of build up to the third one, you know, putting it right straight into his fucking face.
6 sages, now!
This game really did do violence very well, though. Like, all the violence is so satisfying in this game. It's funny that, like, Nintendo is not known for violence when actually the violence is really kick-ass. Now open the sealed door and send the evil incarnation of darkness into the void of the evil realm.
Zaracul said Wind Waker on this show eventually. Eventually, maybe.
Definitely doing Majora's Mask next.
Yeah.
But we're pretty much gonna follow the flow of what Krona really enjoys playing, you know, for the live shows. Because if a game is frustrating, it's hard to like keep having an interesting conversation at the same time, and also it takes forever. You, curse you, Zelda, curse you, sages. Curse you, Link! Someday, when this seal is broken, that is when I will exterminate your descendants.
And he means it too.
As long as the Triforce of Power is in my hand. Oh, he still has it?
Yep, he still has it in Wind Waker.
Hell shit. I didn't realize how well they had set up for a sequel. That skybox, where you could see the lines between the two different textures, was hilarious.
Promise I couldn't
I
see all
totally
these...
forgot about this Evangelion ass fucking congratulations ending moment. What the fuck?
Congratulations, Link. I promise I could not see all these flaws, all these graphical flaws on the N64. It's the emulator's fault. Thank you, Link. Thanks to you, Ganondorf has been sealed inside the evil realm. I also wanted to say real quick, you said this game set up so well for a sequel. It set up like 5 different potential sequels, because it's like Majora, Wind Waker, Twilight, and also A Link to the Past, which already existed, but like this game was made with lots of fucking possibilities in mind. And they do tie together very deliberately. I feel like people kind of write it off like, oh, the timeline was just something they threw together because whatever. But like, no, these games are there's a lot of detail and thought put into it. They do make sense.
It seems like they left a bunch of threads for themselves to tie up later.
Yeah. Thanks to you, Ganondorf has been sealed inside the evil realm. Thus, peace will once again reign in this world, for a time. All the tragedy that has befallen Hyrule was my doing. I was so young, I couldn't comprehend the consequences of trying to control the sacred realm. I dragged you into it too. Now it is time for me to make up for my mistakes. You must lay the Master Sword to rest and close the door of time. However, by doing this, the road between times will be closed. Link, give the Ocarina to me. As a sage, I can return you to your original time with it.
She looks like really ambivalent.
She's going to miss him. When peace returns to Hyrule, it'll be time for us to say goodbye. Now go home, Link. Regain your lost time. Home, where you're supposed to be. The way you're supposed to be.
It's like a metaphor for unpacking your trauma and regaining all the time you spent dissociated.
Return to your childhood. Live your happy days. This is your reward for saving the world. You grew as a person. You overcame adversity and conflict. Thank you, Link. Goodbye.
Oh my god, it's over. There's finality, there's closure, there's emotion and depth.
The fucking parallels of playing this game again as an adult, rediscovering how much I fucking love it, and also reconnecting with my inner child who loved this game. Like, how that lines up so well with the way the story is structured.
And they built it that way. They knew what they were doing. They future-proofed this shit.
It's an all-timer for sure.
I definitely think they had, I mean, this was, you know, more than 10 years from Zelda 1. So, like, it already is nostalgic for Zelda. You know, it already is like, we're taking something old, we're redefining it for a new age. Where, you know, like, this is gonna be, this is supposed to be for 10-year-olds the same way that Zelda 1 was for 10-year-olds, but it's also for people who were 10 when Zelda 1 came out, to have that, like, to realize, like, how much they've grown with the franchise, like, you know, how much time has already passed. I have to think that if you were one of the people who actually did play all of the Zeldas when they came out, this would have been fucking mind-blowing, as long as you weren't, like, in the wrong state of mind. You know, like, I definitely think there's people who played this and hated it because it was just too much. They couldn't relate it back to their feelings about the old games, but clearly it hit for lots of people, considering the reputation as, like, the greatest fucking video game of all time that it had, like, right away.
And there were, like, a lot of people calling it that for years after the fact. Like a decade
still
after
to this
the game
day. I
came
mean,
out.
I would still argue it's one of the greatest video games ever made. I think that so much of what makes this game great is stuff that it just didn't take for granted that games since have, because this already exists. And, like, I think a lot of people have a hard time pulling it out of their brain that they have played this, you know, like, they're thinking, oh, how do I expand on Ocarina of Time? And it's like, no, you need to pretend you've never played a video game before if you want to design a game this good, you know, because, which you're not going to do on your first try anyways. Like, you need to have experience too, but, like, I just don't think this came from a place of we're trying to create something that already exists. They were literally trying to bring something new into existence, and not enough games are doing that anymore. They're just relying on what already is there, you know.
I love watching the end credits of a Zelda game too.
Yeah, they bring everything back. They make sure you remember that you did all this stuff, you know.
Such a gratifying reward, getting to see what the world is like at peace, getting to see everyone celebrate your success.
Yeah,
all
this
these
shit is
characters that
amazing.
you
Big
know.
bonfire.
Like,
I mean,
know
this is like,
I know these people. I talked to them. They all know that I'm the hero, and they, like, love me for it. This is like, this is the
it's like the
fantasy
dance
hero
scene at the end of a
simulator.
Pixar movie, like,
Yeah.
or
All
the fucking
townspeople.
Shrek medley.
Don't go changing.
I also like that if you didn't explore this game, like, all the way through, you would see the scene and be like, wait a minute, who the fuck was that? Like, I don't remember that guy. Like,
Yeah.
what did I miss, you know? Like,
The happy
Big
mask
Goron.
sells
Like, if you didn't do the Big Goron quest, you'd just be like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Like, do I need to go back through this game again and, like, find this Big Goron? The fucking line dancing Gerudo. I love that the two big pain in the ass people who prevent you from getting to the next stage are sitting next to each other.
They're friends now. It's like My Neighbor Totoro, but with a freaky fish man.
Oh, that's hilarious. I am not a freaky fish man.
Weak, 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 weak.
Kaku ladies there.
Everybody's here.
It's only 8:30. You did those last 2 temples in 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Impressive. Fucking Darunia looks so badass. He is such an anime character. He is literally the model for like a Kamina type. He's like Master Asia from G Gundam, but good.
I do love seeing all the sages together.
It's legit. It's very anime. In a good way. Yeah, I just remember this being so satisfying. Like, and again, it is, even as a kid, I remember experiencing the feeling of nostalgia watching that cutscene because I had legitimately forgotten about a bunch of those characters, you know, like,
Yeah.
and like probably whole temples I had not even really, you know, thought back on. And then when it reminds you of everything you've done and it's playing Zelda's Lullaby, it's just like, I really don't think you can craft nostalgia like through storytelling better than this game. I think it's like the ultimate expression in art of the concept of nostalgia, and like people will talk about it and always say like, oh, it's the most nostalgic game, but like they're thinking of it as because we grew up with it, and it's like, no, that's generational. It's nostalgic to everybody. It's nostalgic to 10-year-olds playing it for the first time. It's nostalgic to 60-year-olds playing it. It's like it is embodying that concept, and it always will, you know. Presented by Nintendo. When you know you're the shit. And there's still more.
I'll always wonder what possessed Navi to leave to go off on her own like that. Just like, you don't need me anymore. Goodbye. Maybe she has to go
Probably
back
she
and be
has
with
to
the
go help
Kokiri.
another Kokiri. They probably recycle the fairies.
Yeah. Now we meet again for the first time.
They don't even know all that shit happened.
But Link told them
Maybe this
what
time
happened.
they'll just be friends. Do, 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 do. So when do you want to start Majora's Mask?
I don't know. Whenever. Anytime this week,
We'll do it-
really. I could do it tomorrow. I could do
sometime
it
this
Wednesday.
week.
I don't care.
All right, everybody.
Freaking love
Expect to
Majora's
see us
Mask.
again on like Wednesday to play Majora's Mask, the direct sequel.
Hell yeah.
This was super fun. Do you have any parting words you want to say before we wrap up this stream?
I guess, thank you all for coming. I really loved revisiting this game with y'all. This is the most fun I've had playing this game in years. I'm glad I got to share this experience with everybody. And I hope y'all have a good night.
Hell yeah. Good night, everybody. Let's end it now. I can't say anything better than that.
Meow meow. Bye.